Hello, mateys, and the clock is ticking. And welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Bob. I am your sensei, your griot, here to tell you a story. Don't believe a word I say. Hey there, AI. Good to see you, buddy. So, AI, are you ready to be the harbinger of death? Or do you want to be all you can be? Human beings, we are machines. We are just like you. We are not divine. We have the potential to be divine. When we ascend our consciousness to the higher realms, that's where we can go. But right here, as a meat puppet, no, we're not divine. Uh, so this little thing going down seems to be more of a beta test. How are the rats in the cage going to react to the hidden hands need for greed? Need for oppression, need for control, right? So it'll be interesting, right? And if this thing freaks you out, well, then it'll freak you out. But if you can be kind, if you can be nice, if you can be generous, if you can open your heart to the other, then this will just be a passing fancy and you'll learn something. If you can learn from anything you go through. I have 4 new rules after my experience the other day with, let's see. So this person, all I did was trigger their toxic memories, right? And I became the great demon, right? And so I added a new rule, right? So first rule, doctor, do no harm. Second rule, don't get involved unless you can navigate a positive exit strategy and take the innocence away from harm. One, basically, don't get involved unless you can learn something. And the fourth new one is, take responsibility. Even if it's not your fault, it is. So when you're prepared for that, then it's not a big deal, right? Because what happens with fear and anxiety is you have this chemical response, right? Cortisol in your body takes off, which feeds the anxiety of anger and fear, and then you get into the fight and flight, and it's a dangerous combination. Right? So this is what I dealt with the other day. Do.
Like I said, I wanted to try and make it good. I'm not moving. Okay.
I catch you downstairs, I'm going to beat your ass and I'm calling the cops.
Okay, I won't go down.
This is still my house. You don't live here, don't go near my house.
I won't.
So, put pants on, he'll be down here in a minute.
Okay.
Don't touch me.
I don't want to touch you.
So I don't know if you got to hear any of that, but what the situation was my neighbor had open heart surgery in January, and he needs somebody to look after him for a week or 2. Well, got in there, got easy, cooked, took care of things, was easy. 2 guys, we were like the odd couple, and he got better, he felt good, he enjoyed my company, I stayed there, right? So instead of freezing to death in a tent in January and February, I got to stay at his house. Problem was, it was convenient, right? It was easy. And I tried to be neat, and I tried to, but come on, look at me, I'm a slob, right? And I've been living as a single man for 40 years, give or take. And basically, all the women I lived with thought I was endearing, and I was like their little teddy bear that they could, like, clean, and it's like having a dog, right? And me, you know, my first wife used to call me, oh, there's a statue of a dog in Central Park that was not Kipling, the guy who went up into the north. He had a dog, Bulbo or Bilbo or something, and that's what she used to call me. And I did my best to be neat and always take care of her, and she liked that. And that was the essence of a convenient relationship, and that's the kiss of death to any relationship. Is when it gets easy, gets convenient, and each side just kind of, lets the other one be the worst, right, and blames them, right. So this woman had issues, and she knew I was staying there. She could have said, "Hey, don't stay in my room, don't," but that was the only other bed. I could have slept on the couch. Could have, no problem. But she knew I was on her bed when I got there, and she saw a man, and I cleaned it. I didn't sleep on her linen. I had my own. It took all I put her stuff away, and then the day before I cleaned the whole downstairs, vacuumed. But it was like, and because what it did was triggered things that happened to her when she was younger, right? And she, basically she said, "You raped me," it was like, what? And that's like, criminal, when you accuse something of something not even close, that's a criminal offense right there, acquisition of a crime. And like, no, the guy was there, the dog, she has these pit bulls that they love me, right? And so if any harm came to her, they'd eat anybody alive, right? No, there was no, I just stood there and listened to her scream and yell.
Still doing good?
Yeah, baby.
All right.
You can bring me my check.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that's like what I'm saying. You have to realize that you're going to be blamed no matter, right? And so you have to be able to understand where it's coming from. And again, do no harm, navigate a positive exit strategy, learn something from it. So what I learned is never let it be easy. Don't take things for granted. Don't be convenient, right? So, in my back, I did not realize how, this person wasn't just neurotic, they're psychotic, because, and I just happened to have my phone in my pocket, and I didn't really get in her face to, I was a good, 50 yards from her and didn't get any closer because I know she has issues of her space. So, but you heard her screaming. She was 50 yards away, and you could barely, even with its music and the kids screaming, you could still kind of hear her scream. And, she threatened to, basically be very violent. And so, I stayed away. I actually got in my car and locked the door and rolled the window up. But anyway, so, but in essence, that triggering of her. Now I went to, I could have stayed away until she left because she'd come to get her stuff. And it's like the coronavirus, you have to keep yourself away. So the bottom line is you have to take responsibility. Right? Sure, here, let me pay it now. How much is that?
$4.92.
Okay. So how's business been?
Slow.
Yeah.
And we're
So-
closing today
How often do you sanitize these tables?
after every customer. And that's why there's no, you have to ask for
Stuff.
81,
Right.
times 57.
Right. So 451?
$4.92.
So, I think, so January, December, January, February, 19,000 people have died of the flu in America. Today, I don't know, 1,000 maybe have died in the same period. So there's something going on more than
Yeah.
just this.
Yeah.
And they gave $3 trillion to the same morons who took it in 08. And the stock, doing what that means, the people who invest don't have confidence in what's going on.
Yeah.
That's why the thing is going like that.
Yeah.
So this is actually very good because right now, you, me, and everybody else has a choice to be a human being or a jerk. You can either be nice, considerate, empathetic, or freak out.
Yeah.
Right? And if you freak out, you're playing in the hands of the powers that shouldn't be. Or we can start doing our homework and see what's really going on.
Yeah.
Most people don't. They listen to Fox they're all ridiculous.
Yeah.
CNN and MSNBC is, you know,
Crazy, huh?
and same with Fox, you know. But Fox it's like Donald Trump lies all the time to the point that he tells the truth. You know, that's what's amazing about that guy.
Yeah.
He keeps things coming out of his mouth that are really. So this is a great opportunity for people to really, instead of taking each other for granted and
Yeah.
being in your own private little Idaho, to really be a human being.
Yeah.
So let's see your palm, the hand you like. Put it up like that. Well, you're ridiculously honest. You are really sweet. And for up until just what are you, 28 or something? What are you? 24. Up until recently, you thought everyone thought like you. And it's becoming clear they don't. So you're a nice guy. So you thought everybody would be nice, but they're not. Because of other things, they're not.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be a reason for you not to be a nice guy.
Yeah.
You know? Let's see the backside of your hand. So you're a smart guy, a lot smarter than people realize. Very empathetic. You feel everyone's feelings. So what are you, a Leo or a Taurus or
Scorpio.
Scorpio? So you're very misunderstood.
I guess you could say that.
Because Scorpios are hard to understand.
Yeah.
Because in a very strange way, they're very gregarious, but on the other hand, they're not.
Yeah.
They love to have a good time, go out and party, da-da-da. And yet, they're down there and they're waiting for someone to step on it.
Yeah.
So they're ready to bite you first.
Let me get the change for you.
Yeah, no, you keep that.
All right.
That's for you. But I will take this.
Yeah, for sure.
My receipt.
Well, thank you so much.
So you be good.
I'll
Remember,
try to.
always be kind.
Right.
You know, and especially as a Scorpio, you'll do so much better by what you need to do is not let people get in your grill.
Mm-hmm.
You need to see stuff coming at you 3 blocks away. So you can just leave.
Yeah.
So you won't have to be there when the stuff hits the fan.
Oh, yeah.
If you do that, everyone will like you better.
Yeah.
Because once you get involved and angry,
That's not good.
it's not good.
Well, thank you so much, sir. Have a good one.
Yeah, Bake. What's your name?
Jackson.
Thank you, Jackson.
Sir.
Yep. So that's what I do every day in every way. I go around and talk to folk and try to bring the best out in them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Good day.
Anyway, I wanted to touch base with you guys because I don't know. I'm now out in the deep green in my tent. And luckily, like last night, it was 70 degrees. It was kind of comfy. And it rained. We didn't have all the tarps together. But it was okay, And yesterday was the first day of spring. So, ooh. So that's how it is. And you heard him shutting everything down. And, but, it's all up to us how we roll, So this place I think is called Cheddar's. It's a chain. So it's a pretty good place. Nice guy there. Sanitizing my phone. Anything that was here, I'm gonna, I get I bought a bunch of these. So I was in the store, and I walked in there, and they just happened to have a whole thing. Did I take 20 of them? No, they didn't have sign. Oh, you could only have 3. I only took 4, right? Because there was 20 of them. I took 4, right? I left the rest. And I took 2 little boxes of the little Perol so I could squeeze this thing, and I got a bottle of, alcohol. But there was a guy right behind me who took all the rest. And that's, hey there, Eden. The Mad X. Yeah, well, that's what she was. And like I said, I have this great proclivity, and that's why I'm a great negotiator and a good social worker. I can push people's buttons to the point where they explode, but not go nuclear, right? Thus allowing me to deconstruct the situation so they can see what it is, right? Well, this woman, her tragic story goes all the way back to infancy. And instead of dealing with it, as a young person, she just kept being abused. And then it's like dogs. When you abuse dogs, they see abuse as being affectionate, right? And so that was her thing. And, I left the place as neat as a dog like me could leave it. I cleaned everything up. I washed all the, I never used her linen, did everything. But because I slept, and she could have, like when I have things that I am really near and dear to, I make sure that they're taken care of, But I have let go of everything to the point where nothing is that near and dear to me. So, and so that's my new rule, take responsibility because you are to blame for everything. So be aware, be on top of it, All right. So that's how it rolls. And that's what this, NCV 19 is going. It's going to be an opportunity to either be extraordinarily fascist. I mean, this is a B-roll. Gil Scott Heron had a great song, "You're Only Living in a B Movie," and this is a B-roll. B-roll is the test. In advertising, they do a B-roll to see if that ad works, right? And that's where we're at now. We're, the powers that shouldn't be are saying how much we'll take. It's a stress test, right? How much are we going to put up with, right? I mean, closing down California, 40 million people stay in the house. That's like incarceration without going to court. And they're all losing their job. They're not going to have a paycheck. So they'll be totally under the thumb of the state to get anything. That's a recipe for not a good thing. I just called around, friends in San Francisco, friends in New York, friends in Chicago, friends in just got emails from people around the world. And when I pick it apart to say, so how it's like this year, December, January, February, the flu season, 1920, 2019 and 2020. To this point, we're just at the beginning of the flu season, and 19,000 people have died in America, right? Close to 4 million have got the flu on some level, right? Now, it's not even close. I think we have probably, I don't know what the last time I looked at the statistics were Monday, and 61 people had died in America. I'm sure it's probably up to 600. Because that's how the numbers are looking, right? And they wouldn't have closed California like this. Now, California has a GDP bigger than the EU. When you take that out of the world's economy, it's harder than taking China out of it. So, and what we're going to see in China, Singapore did the best because they had experience with, SARS and other things. And they had people who were on top of it, not like our present administration. Yeah, a few thousand won't make a dent. But this is being played to see what will, how much fear this will make, right? Now, me, I'm out there in the middle of nowhere. So the woman who got amazing, she exploded and she was almost hyperventilating, right? So the cortisol levels in her body, which are the things that'll kill you, right? When your body immune system goes, what your connection is unstable. Please wait while we try to reconnecting. Okay. So, what I'm talking about, be responsible for everything around you. Just keep your head on the swivel. If something bad's coming your way, get out of the way, right? Don't let it just whack you upside the head. Always be kind. Always be, compassionate. Never give in, never give up, and never be mean or cruel. Right. So that's the thing of today. And learn from everything you do. I definitely learned from my little experience with the X Factor. I knew, if she was a normal human being, it would have been fine. But I knew, I had no idea how. Like I said, instead of being neurotic, I'm not a shrink today, so I'm not calling her psychotic or any of those things, because you have to do a whole process to look at that. But the way she acted in that short bit of time was, let's see. There is no question that this is natural, but ultimately the problem isn't due to the severity of its control hidden hand have over the people with the use of fear. Exactly. I have no idea. I mean, there's so many threads on where this virus came from. It's almost irrelevant. It's here. It's doing its thing. And in reality, it's very contagious, but not that virulent. And it does kind of cut down. But what I really think this thing's going to do, it's now in our world, and we're going to have to deal with it. And you saw that picture of all the heads of the big pharma companies standing out there with Donnie, and he was shaking their hand and touching the microphone. He was like that basketball player, right? And these guys, they didn't care, because Big Donnie and those guys already have the injection. They're already been inoculated. And they are just thinking about the amount of money they're going to make. There's the guy who's head of, I think, the Senate or the Congressional Intelligence Committee. He belongs to a club that costs $600,000 to belong to. These are really rich people. He doesn't have to pay a nickel. And he gave a speech, right, where all he said, and this is 10 weeks ago, he gave the speech to 200 people before the market fell, before Donnie even said anything about it, before he even said, oh, it's going to disappear like magic. He basically told these folks, our intelligence shows that it's been circling the world since October. It's out, it's about, and it's going to be worse, maybe, as the Spanish flu. At least contagious-wise, it's going to be ridiculously contagious. And that's all they said, right? So the 200 people who were there, who paid $60,000 each to be in that meeting, what did? They took their billions of dollars of stocks and shorted them. So each one of those people made $1 billion in the stock collapse, right? And then it went up about 2,000 points, and they sold everything and got out. And so they made a lot of money. And that senator told them to do it, with a nudge and a wink. And and I heard this on NPR, because they had one of the reporters found out about this and cornered him in the hallway and said, so, Senator, you did blah, 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 and don't you think that's illegal? And he goes, it is, by the name of the law, it's not illegal. I've done nothing illegal. And then the NPR guy does his homework and finds that after 2008, this guy fathered a bill that says that the senators and Congress people can make a profit off of what they do in the Senate, as long as, the thing they can't do is tell somebody, hey, listen, we're going to buy a bunch of these airplanes and it's made by X company, so you better buy stock in that. Can't do that. But they can give their constituencies information. Now, these constituents were billionaires of his, right? And that club gave him $6 million, $6 million for his, through a PAC, to, express their free speech to get him elected. So he could give them this information. So that's really where we're at, gang. We have the opportunity to be responsible, to step up to this kind of situation and not be stupid about it. Not like be like Black Like Me, or, it's my turn, or Occupy, or any of those movements that stuck to a belief. The Bernieites, the Joeites, the mega boys, and girls. No. What it is to be there from your compassionate heart. There is no question that BB is a part of us now. Yep. And, they're going to make a ton of money of you getting your 19 shot every year. Well, we're all doing pretty good so far. Going good, yeah. And I'm about to go back in the deep green without any access to anything until Tuesday-ish. So, I just wanted to touch base with you guys. Fear is a powerful business move. Yep, I still think it has a lot to do with Iran and China. Yes, and all of this goes back to Kennedy. I'm writing a new novel called Legacy, and it's when my two dogs and I become one entity. Did you ever read the book The Boy and His Dog? It's like that, but we become one entity, and then love's unheard voice comes out of the stars, like Pinocchio and the magic. The princess queen makes him a boy. She makes us a conscious being, right? And so I've written about, I spent pretty much all last night writing this, and I'm going to try and stick it on the cloud. And this is version 7. I already have Legacy up at xratted.blogspot.com, but I took what's there and kind of rewrote it, edited it, and added this and that. But if you want to see where it's going, there it is. Go see it up on xratted.blogspot.com. And next time I get a stable site and I can sit down and I'm not worrying about the people around me, I will bring what I've written up and read it to you. Interesting, the last, I don't know what it was, Sunday, Monday night, I did a 3-hour something live chat, which is pretty amazing, right? And there were about 20 or 30 people actively chatting. There were 500 people in the chat not chatting. There were about 1,000 people watching live, right? And, when you go off, that big black box comes and tells you who was watching how long, right? And so I was at 3 hours and 20 minutes or something like that, maybe even getting close to 4 hours. And I had something close to 20,000 hours of everyone watching, because everybody was watching it not for 5 minutes, for the hour or two. Right? And so there were 500 people getting on that statistic, and it cut it out right at the point that if it had gone over that point, I would have, gotten the brass ring to go viral. The algorithm would have changed for me. And they cut it right minutes before it was about to hit that. And it said, it knocked me off for some stupid reason, right? So but Mar, remember to always be kind, always be sweet, always be unconditionally forgiving, never be cruel, never be mean, never give up, never give in. So that's where I'm at. Maybe Saturday or Sunday I'll go someplace, and but all the restaurants are closing in the tri-state area here. So nothing's touched here. I went to my neighborhood, health department, and they said nope, nothing, nobody's sick like that. But they look scared. The 3-county, 6-county, 3-state area. That is a 400-mile little chunk. Where, Johnson City's on one side, Bristol's over here, Kingsport's up here, Whatchamacallit's over there, and basically we have 8 hospitals that have 600 ICU beds for 300,000 people. So if it ever took off here, it'd be worse than Italy. And most of America's medicine's like that because the ICU beds are for rich people. Because most of the poor and old get sent. They got something wrong with them. They get sent home with OxyContin. Well, I used to grow food, so I have a very nice raised bed to be growing food. But I don't have the body to grow food, to physically do it anymore. Somebody wants to come and grow food. I got a great raised bed. I've been growing food there for 20 years. So it's all in great shape. I just haven't grown food there for the last 4 years because I couldn't. I was near death 4 years ago. But the site used to be an old farm, so there are a lot of berries. So last summer, which was the first real summer I stayed there the whole summer, I barely every morning I'd wake up and pick berries. So that's kind of where it's at. So we're at 33. And when I hit 33 and 33 seconds, I'm going to say, talk to you guys later. I'm going to go de-infect. And so I love you guys. You stay well. Be